Does Fallout work as an adaptation?
Honestly, it's the only one that's worked in the past year and a half now.
Because the games are RPGs, so this is just like, what if there was a story within the world of Fallout?
And it works so great.
Amazon is an horrible, evil corporation.
But damn, can they make some TV shows, dude?
I'll be enjoying their TV shows. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Like The Boys, Invincible, Gen V,
got
Fallout,
Jack Reacher and all
Jack
that stuff
Reacher,
too.
like bangers. If they didn't just institute like password sharing and ads, mandatory ads, you can't even pay for not ads.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It would be the best streaming service in the world.
They are as far as their adaptations go. Like The Boys is better than the comics.
Yeah.
Invincible is not as good as the comics, but it is very, very close, and it does its own thing as well. So it's like it does what an adaptation should do and develop it for a different medium.
Right. And then in the world of adaptations where you have the likes of Paramount's Halo series and you have Netflix's Avatar series and Disney Plus's Percy Jackson, you have people on both sides arguing for and against it, right? Yeah. It's good or it's awful and people in between. Nowhere have I seen anyone say other than Fallout was phenomenal. It's great.
Everyone liked
everyone liked it.
Everyone liked that.
Yeah, everyone. Out of the ones I've just brought up, for me personally, and it's coming off the back of, I think they did have a little bit of a weak start when Rings of Power was like their first big
That's an interesting
thing.
point too, because that's an adaptation of like it's sort of like Fallout, where it's like the only difference is there's not as much reverence and love for the Fallout universe as there is for like Lord of the Rings. So now we get this thing where it's like, okay, we just get more Fallout content. That's how it feels, and like that feels like it's trying to overwrite the Lord of the Rings kind of. It's trying to like do its own thing.
We had Todd Howard as executive producer for the Fallout series. No, it's so good. The scenery and stuff. We'll talk about it in this video, guys. But like, I watched the whole episode. We've watched 1 and 2 so far.
Yeah, 2 episodes.
I cannot complain about this show.
I actually, I was kind of going into it with middling expectations because I've never played Fallout. I have New Vegas downloaded, but I haven't played it. I think I might stream it too.
It's the best one.
We're both planning on streaming Fallout at some point.
Yeah, don't worry. It'll be coming.
It'll happen at some point. But this is exactly what you want out of something like this, where it's in the world of the games and it's not like one-to-one telling the story. Because even like with good adaptations like the MCU for most of it, you get comparisons, and it's like, this could all exist within the same realm.
Which also, don't get it twisted, they have a lot more easy access to not mess up the adaptation because, like you said, it's an RPG game where me and you can take completely different paths in the same video game. So they have a lot more freedom of it's not Halo with the Master Chief where you have to get Master Chief correctly, but you also want to give your own creative liberties to it. In this one, you're just saying, hey, the Fallout games exist. This could have essentially be like another Fallout video game. Yeah. And instead, they've made it into a TV show instead, because almost every Fallout game has started with your son's been kidnapped, your father's been kidnapped, you've been kidnapped, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's like they're doing the same thing. The main actor or the main character, Lucy, her father was kidnapped, and so she ventures out of the vault to go find her father, and she runs into the wasteland and everything that follows. That's almost word for word exactly how a Fallout game starts.
And it lets you kind of explore the wilds. It gives you this good like grounded place to start, and there's this humor to it as well.
Yes,
because it is like the 50s, and everyone's sort of like golly gee. And, they have these little weird vernaculars, and the bunker, the shelter,
the
vault. Thank you.
The vault
that worked way more for me than most of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, Walton Goggins as the ghoul is like one of the best characters.
Oh, guys, just so you know, this will be spoiler heavy.
Yes, we're spoiling it, and this is spoilers for the games as well as the show.
Yes, we will be doing spoilers.
All 8 episodes are out, though, so you can go watch the whole thing right now. This is just episode 1 we're talking about.
Yeah.
Walton Goggins plays Cooper Howard, who gets radiated into a ghoul.
There you go. And then we have Lucy, played by
Ella Purnell. And
then we have
Aaron Moulton, who's playing Maximus.
Maximus, what a cool name. As the Brotherhood of Steel guy.
Yeah. What was his, like, it was like anti-perspiratory Maximus or something.
What?
His first name or his last name was something.
Oh, was it?
It was something like, antidepressant Maximus or something.
I don't remember that.
It was like the rank in the thing or something.
Oh, yeah, he had Squire Maximus, and then he had...
It was whatever before that. It was like...
Oh, it's aspirant.
Aspirant. Yeah. I was just saying antiperspirant.
Yeah. So we get those 3 are our main characters. We follow them.
I like them all. It's sort of a... I thought about this on the way home last night. We were watching it at Steven's house. It's sort of a good, bad, and ugly situation. Mm-hmm. You ever watch that Western?
I have not.
So it's like Clint Eastwood, and then there's 2 other guys, and then they're all looking for money.
Right.
In this, it's the power armor guy and the ghoul are both looking to get the item for money. but the main lady is the good in this. Yes. She's like just trying to find her father,
and she gets caught up in the same thing as the other two.
It is sort of a Western, like it's got a Western vibe
absolutely.
to it.
And that's the vibe when you play the Fallout games. It's this post-apocalyptic, so it is Western in the fact that New Frontier kind of thing.
Yeah,
but it's set in like the 50s, 60s era when everything got frozen from there.
And that's Westerns were super popular at that time.
Yeah, and it just works, dude. I've always loved, like when I first played through New Vegas, they were like, you got to listen to the radio. The radio is part of the Fallout experience. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. And then when I played Fallout 3, I started listening to the radio and I said, dude, this goes hard. And it's all real songs, you know what I mean? Like,
that's what's so funny about it is like it's very, it's something you wouldn't think is cool, but like in the setting, the whole mindset, it's all just works.
Like it works so well. Yeah. Oh my god, this first episode sets the groundwork. You've got Moises Arias as Lucy's little kid.
We were all looking like, is that the kid from Disney Channel?
Montana? He doesn't look like he's aged a day.
Yeah, he looks. And you were like, why is this little baby boy? Like, why are they trying to make this adult man a baby boy? And I'm like, they didn't say he was young. It's just you're just assuming that.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Cooper Howard, the rodeo guy, the ghoul.
Oh, the ghoul. Yeah. So we
pre-ghoul.
Yeah, because we start out in the before the war kind of thing.
And it's weird because like I don't know if he had like lost his job or
they called him like a pinko.
Yeah, he was on hard times somehow, and he had his daughter there. He was working like a children's birthday party.
And guys, they may all obviously explore this later on in the show. We just haven't gotten there and we haven't looked it up. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming we will get more of his backstory in a later episode.
I think definitely.
He's the most mysterious of the three right now. So like we're introduced to him and he's doing like a birthday party for some
He's
rich
like
kids
roping.
and
He's
stuff.
doing like a cowboy, like a hired cowboy kind of thing.
Yeah, and he had used to be a Marine in the Army and stuff. And the husband and friends and stuff were like insulting him,
Yeah, they're kind of playing him down. Like,
like, why don't you do the thumbs up? And he's like, no, I don't want to do that, especially in the times that we're in and stuff. And they were just making fun of him. So we want to know why. They said something about alimony, so there's a divorce involved, most likely. Yeah. And he is the least known of the show. It's so sad, though, too, because his daughter's there, and he's like, well, why are they doing the thumb thing? And he tells her, he's like, hey, if you see if you do the thing with the mushroom cloud, this is when you know to run away. And she's like, oh, what if it's the other one?
If it's too small, if your thumb covers the mushroom cloud, run for the hills. And she goes, what if it's bigger than your thumb? And he goes, they told us not to worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't even try.
So then we see this big flash while he's trying to get her some cake, and she does it, and she just like, and then she looks at her dad, and she's like, is it your thumb or mine? And it's got to be the most gut wrenching thing.
I will say it's a little too quick. Like it's like set up and immediately paid off.
Yeah.
But it's still very effective.
Oh, it's so effective.
And like he doesn't even believe it's a mushroom cloud at first because it's so close, and he's just like, oh, it's just smoke, I think. And then like, you see it explode, and he's like, oh.
Oh yeah, because the cloud is so massive. You put both hands, and it's still bigger. You know what I mean? That's how close they are.
You see them like running away. We get little hints, like little like they're watching the TV before the party starts.
Yeah.
Like the president's whereabouts are unknown.
Yeah, and then the news guy's like, why am I talking about the weather if I don't even know if I'll be here tomorrow? And like, she turns it off, kind of thing. So it's happening.
Yeah. But it's little hints. It's more like alluded to rather than just fully explained.
I love that they did show a little bit of pre-war before.
I do too.
I like it a lot.
It was like a futuristic retro society kind of thing.
Yeah. So for those of you who are unaware with Fallout, so they do the atom bomb, right? This is following the events of World War II, but they kept going with nuclear technology. So they advanced a lot. They had robots, they had nuclear fission cars. Everything was nuclear, but because they advanced so fast, the aesthetics were still 1950s, 1960s. So which was a really cool aesthetic to have.
I love retro future, by the way.
Yes,
it's a great
so
vibe.
Cool. Yeah. So and then because of that, we ended up going to war with like the Russians and the Chinese. And because of that, everyone
it's just Nuke City.
Yeah, nukes are still like new stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. So people are still ready. Like, we've got them. We just did that to Japan. We'll do it to you too. So everyone kind of just dropped the nukes on everybody, and so you get the nuclear fallout.
Yeah.
So that is the premise of why everything looks old, but they were advanced for being old at the same time, which is really cool. I think it works really well.
And there's like a bunker vault.
Yeah.
A bunch of vaults.
The rich family that had the party had like their own bunker and stuff.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was a bunch of vaults there. This one is Vault 32, who shares a wall with Vault 33. I was telling them last night, in the video games, most of these vaults weren't there to help people. They were really there for government experimentation after the events of the bombs. So
could have been the same thing here. We didn't get
we didn't get a good explanation.
We get it's like 200 years in the future. Their purpose is to perpetuate America, save America,
bring back America after the war.
Yeah, and so it's like this whole thing, and like our main character Lucy, she's so sweet. She's just like a happy, like she's explaining her like her stats in the beginning, and she's like, I like to do the pipes, and I'm a history teacher with a strong focus on ethics.
Yeah,
so she's very ethical, and she loves
it's so
people
funny too. Is like she very well knows her role is to be literally fruitful and multiply kind of thing. She's like, it will be my honor to get married. And so they bring a guy from the other vault, and she goes, what's your sperm count? Are you good? Because we got to have a lot of babies.
Yeah.
And like she shows up in the bedroom, and the guy instantly takes his clothes off, and you think she's like, how dare you? But she goes, okay, let's get cracking.
She goes,
you know?
okie dokie.
Yeah, and it's
that's
just
like her catchphrase, kind of.
It's so funny because of how... Like it's so shocking. You don't see that in other shows, you know.
Right. Well, it's there's a juxtaposition because she's very old fashioned, kind of old timey, like wash the dishes, also like, you know. But then you're in a war fallout situation, so it's like we need to keep the population going. So this is just normal to us. Let's have sex and have as many babies as possible.
Yeah, dude, it's just so weird.
And also too, they love their cousins. Like
they make a bunch of jokes. Like one of the guys, like he's like, oh, I can't open the door, and she goes, Chet, what's going on? And he's like, I love you, Lucy. And she goes, we all know that. But fooling around with cousins is kid stuff. You don't do that anymore. And you're like, stuff. What the
They still do it, but it's not like, she's like, it's not a practical plan for repopulation.
It's not taboo. You're allowed to, but at the same time, it's like, okay, now that your fooling around's done, we still have to have kids, and I can't have them with you because you're my cousin.
But they still get married and stuff before like they actually.
And it blows my mind because they're like, we get it. You're a human. You need to have those urges and stuff, but don't actually have a baby. You know what I mean?
they stop before they go the full way.
It's like, oh, it's just so weird. And that's what I like about Amazon with their shows. They don't shy away from these weird things.
They keep it mature. Yeah, they keep it very mature.
But it works. It's not like college humor of like Seth Rogen's old movies where it's just a bunch of titties and sex and stuff.
It's not like overdone.
Yeah, I don't want to say like intelligently funny, but it's like
it's more it's more mature.
More mature, but with the sex and stuff still in there in some capacity.
It's almost like character humor too. It's not just like, oh, he farted. And that's funny because farts.
Do the laugh.
It's not funny just because of that, but it's like, you know, we get these characters and that's their dynamics. Like she meets in the second episode, she meets like some you know, she meets like this old lady who's like running a store. Yeah. And those two interacting is like the funniest thing you'll ever see.
I love that old lady, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
She goes down and is like, you're doing bad things, so I would like to tell you to stop. And she goes, vault dwellers, man. Like, what are they doing?
It's really funny.
No, I like Lucy a lot as a main character. I know a lot of people are like, oh, another female main character, but she is a great main character.
I mean, there's plenty of main characters in this too. Like we get the power armor Maximus, and we also get the Ghoul and stuff. So it's not just like,
and they flip between the three, and they have like the cards like Quentin Tarantino's movies where it goes like when they introduce Lucy, and then they introduce not Bradley Cooper, Maximus, and the Ghoul. Yeah, he's something Cooper.
His name. The card just had the Ghoul though.
Oh God! See, I knew that. Okay, so it turns out though that the marriage was a sham. The previous vault had gotten overrun by raiders from the above ground. Mm-hmm. So they threw down a war, and we're introduced to our main.
Really interesting fight scene they have going on.
It was so gory, but so fun at the same time. It was goofy, you know.
And you kind of see hints too, because the lady, Lucy, she's like. They have sex on the table, and like the bed's right there.
Yeah,
they're doing it on the table, and then the guy gets up out of the bed and he starts like wiping his junk on the curtains.
Yeah, and she's like, "Okay, that's interesting."
And then you see him go over to the faucet, and he's just like filling up a huge jug of water and like taking as much water as possible. And she like puts on her little thingy, her little Apple Watch, Pip Boy, and then she's like checking his radiation, and it's going off, and he's like, and he's like, for the record, this is the best day of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've got the goofy outfits, the Raider outfits. They look just like they ripped them out of the video game.
Max and stuff too.
There's a weapon later. It's called a junk jet, and it literally what you do in the game is you can break down all your materials, turn it into junk. You load that into the junk jet like a thing, and you just shoot it at people. So in the show, this guy shoots a junk jet, and so the guy gets. Like his chest full of like spoons and knives and forks, and another guy has like a baby leg sticking out of his chest and stuff because it's a bunch of junk they just put in there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I like Kyle MacLachlan in this, the overseer.
Yes.
He's Lucy's dad, and like so Lucy's going through. She's just like tranking people. She's not killing people because she's like the good, wholesome one.
The
of the
ethics.
Group. Yeah. She's if the good, bad, and the ugly. She's the good for sure. And she's tranking people in her wedding dress. She had been stabbed, so she's like walking through with like bloodstains and stuff. And then her husband, technically, comes up and he's like gonna,
after she like cut his jaw open and stuff.
Yeah, she like smashes a glass bottle and like slices it across his face and all that.
Oh, so gory.
But yeah, Kyle MacLachlan, her dad, just kind of comes up and he grabs him by the shoulders and he drowns him in a barrel full of pickles.
I loved it. Death by pickles, dog. There's another scene where the vault dwellers are running around because all the weapons are in the armory, but the raiders have gotten their weapons.
Yeah.
So this guy's running, he's screaming, and one of the raiders shows up, puts a gun in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Shoots it. It goes through his skull and shoots the people behind him. And one of the guys is like bringing in like a Jello thing. And he goes, mold. Get rid of the mold. We're under attack. And then they all three get killed.
That's Zach Cherry, who's just like the famous like that guy.
Yeah.
Like whenever you see him, you're like, I don't know his name, but that's that guy.
I was like, he gives incel vibes.
He kind of does. Well, he's one of the leaders, I guess, because she's applying to him to like get the marriage. But he turns around, he's like, nice, get that Jello mold out of here.
Yeah.
And then the guy just like shoots them all.
Dude, it was crazy.
It was a pretty good fight scene, and it was like your old timey music's playing as well and stuff.
Yeah. So then we meet
Lee something.
Yeah.
Lee Moldova.
And she's alluding to something is different about this vault. She was like, these people, you like everything here, you know what you did, kind of thing. And she goes, them or your daughter. So he locks the daughter up. They take him, and then they blow the place up. Moldaver. So she ends up leaving to go on this trek, So we're introduced to Moldova, and we're like, okay, the dad's involved with something. What's going on here?
And she's like, you look just like your mother, talking to
Lucy. So it's like, what's going on? Something's going on.
Everyone knows Lee Moldaver too, because like she goes, this is the second episode, but she goes up there and she's like, everyone knows her.
Yeah. So and then we're introduced. So then we go from Lucy to Maximus. And he looks like he was saved as a kid by the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, he's kind of got like one of those, like I don't know. You told me the Brotherhood of Steel is like the humanity first kind of people.
Yeah, they're in Fallout 4, they're very heavily alluded to being racist because they don't like synths, they don't like ghouls. If you're not a human, they don't like you, and they're all about finding old war stuff, pre-war stuff, using it to enhance themselves and better humanity and stuff. Really cool, but at the same time, little sketch.
They're sort of maybe the bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on your interpretation, they could be the bad guys.
Now, the Enclave are 100% the bad guys.
Yeah.
The Enclave, in number 3, they build this massive robot, and it's a war on communism robot. So he'll walk around, and he's just like blowing things up. He's like, die in the name of freedom, die, you communist scum. And he's like this massive 30-foot tall robot.
We got a drop on the Enclave, like we got a name drop of the Enclave because they talk about the target that Maximus is going after as part of the Enclave. Yeah, so he's got some kind of a big thing. That's the thing he put in his head. Or
the Enclave is an extremist group of the Brotherhood of Steel. So they kind of sequestered themselves off because they want to go even more further than the Brotherhood of Steel.
So just and spoiler for I guess episode 2. Is the doctor guy? He's part of the Enclave.
I'm assuming so. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. Okay. This is completely new territory, so I don't think it's based off any of the games.
Gotcha.
So, we're interested to see that. He's got his own buddy. Fallout fans call the dog meat because in Fallout 4 you get dog meat, but
we'll talk about
we'll talk about that in the next episode. So stay tuned for that. But so he's like the main target. So Maximus has to go. He becomes a squire.
Yeah, they have this whole thing with.
He's an aspirant when we're first introduced to him.
Yeah, and he's cleaning the toilets. It's like these big tires stacked up on top of each other with toilet seats on them.
Yeah.
And they have to like bury the I guess.
Yeah, it's not very efficient. Like he's always digging new holes. Like
why don't you
gross. Yeah, why don't you dig a massive hole? Get everyone out there, dig this big hole, and then dump the shit in it.
I like the military vibes of this though. It's like very, very like wife beater kind of your military pants, and you all just kind of run around. And, anyway, but his buddy gets selected for
to be a squire to the knights,
and then somehow that character gets a razor in the leg, and we don't know if he is the one who put the razor blade in his friend's shoe or if it's like
He says he wanted it to happen because he's been wanting to become a squire, but I don't think he did it. Which leads us to who did it?
We don't know. I kind of think he did do it. I kind of think he's the bad. I think we're gonna like him. I think Lucy's smiling at him. I think she's gonna get to like him.
Yeah.
This is the next episode, by the way. But I think
we do see he's very selfish. We've seen several instances. Like he admits to this, and in the second episode we'll talk about because he ends up becoming a squire, and his knight. We'll see what happens with that. Yeah. I don't think he's that good.
I think he's gonna be our antagonist.
I think what he wants is recognition above all. He wants to be a hero, not to be a hero, but so that people can look at him like he did when he was rescued by the Brotherhood of Steel.
And then he's more complex. We'll talk about it in the next episode.
We see a lot more with him in the next episode.
But essentially, I feel like his story kind of drug on. Like I was like, hurry it up. Come on.
Like Lucy's was engaging the entire time.
Yeah, because I understood the whole society and all the different people there. And then this is just like, okay, we're at this like gloomy, dirty, muddy camp, and we got all these people just being upset, and everyone's getting hit with rulers and stuff.
He said it was so shocking, it made me laugh. He was like, "What is this?" And he goes, "This wrong." Bam! Smacks him in the face. I laughed so loud at that.
He showed him like the circuitry of something, and he's like, "What is this? I don't. Is it a rotor? I don't."
He says, "A rotor." Pow! It's a circuit. Oh, not bad.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick my tooth up off the desk now.
Seriously, bro. But yeah, the power armor, it was kind of a little plastic looking-y.
Yeah, you said that. I didn't see it, but they make sure they give sound effects with every time they move. So even if you feel like it's plasticky, It doesn't sound like it's
well, it's just filmmaking, you know. They got to cover their... Whatever.
Overall, aesthetic-wise, it looks sick.
I think they need like darker lighting or something. I think those
don't you dare say that.
Well, that's the thing is, I think the suits were. I think they were designed to have like more, you know, be like in the nighttime more. Like if it wouldn't be as bad if you didn't see it like in full broad daylight. And they make it out to be these cool like metal power suits.
Yeah.
But every time I'm looking at them, it just looks slow and inefficient. And even like the guy using it, it's just like
he goes, "Oh."
we'll get to it in the next episode. Anyway, I don't know. I guess the power armor it dropped for me. I didn't really feel it.
I think Maximus for me right now is our weakest character of the three. I like all of them, and I like where their stories are going.
He might have the most potential, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
As growth and stuff. Yeah. It would be nice to see Lucy get corrupted. You know what I mean?
I think she's kind of maybe not corrupted fully, but I think she's kind of adapting to the ways of the world. Sort of like your character in the Fallout games. You know, you have to adapt to what's going on.
Which we'll talk about some stuff with Lucy, what she experiences in the next episode. So stay tuned for that. It's pretty funny stuff.
It's good.
So then we get the ghoul. So it looks like every now and then he's buried alive right now with like some kind of drip feed thing to keep him alive.
Yeah.
And like every couple years, the boss guy will have him dug up and they were saying like tear flesh off of him or something.
They said like have his way with him. I don't know what that meant.
I don't know if this is like some mad scientist trying to do stuff with ghouls or if he's just trying to get his rocks off.
Could have been. That's kind of the vibe I got was like he's having your way with you. It's like ugh.
But it was weird. So anyway, these guys came up there to dig him up because they want to get the bounty.
Outlaws kind of guys.
They're like, oh, there's a hit out on this guy.
Also a very chubby dude, and I'm thinking like, oh, it's cool. There's a chubby guy, but like, how would you be chubby in this environment?
Exactly. You can't be chubby in Fallout. You just can't.
It's like in Lost when Hurley's there, and it's like, how does Hurley stay overweight the whole time they're on that island?
Exactly, dude. So yeah, they basically tell him, hey, look, you can stay down there and keep doing this with that guy, or you can come with us and do this. It's gonna be our last job. And the ghoul's like, played by Walton Goggins, phenomenal character. He's like, I don't know. Most people who say it's their last job, they're really not in it at all, and I don't want that apart. You know, I don't want to be a part of that.
He even he's not even doing it for money. He's just doing it for the kicks.
Thrill of the game is what he says.
He's like I just like doing it. You know?
They bring a chicken with them. They're like, why do we have a chicken? It's like because if he's gone full feral ghoul, then he'll go straight for the chicken. If he does that, we'll kill him. For those who are not familiar with Fallout, some people survive the radiation by turning into ghouls, which are like almost zombie things. They're immortal, but depending on how much radiation you got, depends on what level of a ghoul you are. So most of them retain their memories and brain and stuff, and they're just immortal. Some of them got cooked too much, and they turn into functional zombies that just run around trying to kill you.
But they're just another race of people, really.
Yeah, they're creepy in the games.
I like that. Just like ghoul is like the funniest word. It's just like, oh yeah, they're ghouls.
They're definitely second-class citizens. Everyone, like you'll see in episode 2, he's like, I told you we don't let your kind in here. But so the guy ends up killing all 3 of them. It's a pretty funny, comical little fight thing.
Yeah, and he kind of like has this this catchphrase that he used on his daughter. He's like, us cowpokes, we just take it as it comes. Yeah. And he just says that again, and then he walks off.
Yeah. And because when they pulled him up, he looks at the chicken and starts licking his lips, and they said, is that the sign?
He picks it up, and he's like smelling it kind of.
Yeah, they're like, are we shooting him now? What are we doing?
I love Walton Goggins in any kind of role like that. He's always wearing some fake teeth. I've noticed that about Walton Goggins. He's always wearing like dirty, gross, which is period accurate.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely.
And like all the Westerns, like Tarantino stuff he's in, he's always wearing like horrible fake dentures and stuff.
Maybe they're real.
I mean, maybe, who knows? But
no, he's got some pearly whites.
In real life, he's got like really like impressive, nice teeth, and then you see him in TV, and he's always like got
That's
some
a bum.
It's a bum, but you know, it's a good little detail.
Yeah,
because that bugs me sometimes when I'm like, they even mentioned that in the second episode. Like, oh, you got good teeth.
Yeah,
you're from the vaults.
I love that. She was like. She even makes like the biting sound or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, guys, that's episode 1. And we asked the question at the beginning: is this a good adaptation? And I think we've answered. Yeah, we'll say yes.
Especially so far, like this first episode it really impressed me. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think the critic reviews and the audience obviously critic reviews are hit or miss, but we can pretty much assume that it's a good show people like.
Yeah, and we'll pass that question to you guys. If you've watched it, do you like the adaptation? Mm-hmm. Is it better than the adaptations we've gotten in the past year or two? What were your thoughts on the show? And
wanted to give a shout out as well to Mr. Lim, who contacted us on Instagram. Thank you for hitting us up, man. We were glad that you enjoyed content, and you even asked about Fallout. We were planning to do it beforehand, so I'm glad that you actually
you spurred it on because we were like, are we doing a one-off or we're gonna do episode by episode? But us seeing your message, we're like, you know what, let's do it. Full send it. So
full send.
This one's for you, and we hope to see you in the next episode.
Yeah, and if you like watching like episode by episode breakdowns and stuff, we've got Ben 10. You can check that out right here. We've also got Percy Jackson, which is another live action adaptation that's over there. Mm-hmm. You can subscribe kind of in the middle here, and we'll see you.
Yep, we'll see you in the next one.
Video.